From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, December the 30th, 2020. Well, 35 years after his arrest for passing classified information to Israel and serving 3 decades in prison, Jonathan Pollard arrived in Israel today. The now 66-year-old had been restricted to stay in the United States after his release from prison in 2015 under strict parole rules until last month when his parole ended, at which time he said that he and his wife Esther would come to Israel, something he has spoken about for many, many years, as soon as she was well enough to do so. Esther Pollard has been battling cancer for several years now. Well, early this morning, the Pollards fulfilled their wish, landing at Ben Gurion Airport, where they were greeted by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. The Pollards kissed the ground before Netanyahu handed them their new Israeli identification cards and gave them a Hebrew blessing, welcoming them home.
You're home. Back home.
Then reciting the Shehecheyanu, the Hebrew blessing that is said to celebrate something new, with Pollard extending his gratitude for the Prime Minister and for the people of Israel.
Shehecheyanu v'kimanu, v'gianu l'zman hazeh.
Amen. We are ecstatic to be home at last after 35 years. And we thank the people and the Prime Minister of Israel for bringing us home.
Israel's Foreign Minister Gabi Ashkenazi said he is retiring from politics. The former IDF Chief of Staff was among the senior leaders of Defense Minister and alternate Prime Minister Benny Gantz's Blue and White Party. And Gantz thanked Ashkenazi for his work and service, saying he respects his decision. And a former finance ministry accountant general said he is forming a new party to run in Israel's elections this coming March. Yaron Zalecha said the aptly named Economic Party will focus on economic and social issues. We reported to you this week about the acquittal of 4 men convicted in the abduction and murder of Jewish journalist Daniel Pearl in Pakistan in 2002. The ruling handed down by a Pakistani court, which outraged the Jewish world. The 4 included the mastermind of the plot, who is being held while Pearl's family, as well as the Pakistani government, appeal. The Wall Street Journal, where Pearl was a veteran correspondent at the time of his death, reported today that acting U.S. Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen said the U.S. will not allow this key suspect to evade justice, adding that if the appeals fail, the United States would be standing ready to take custody of the suspect in Pearl's kidnapping and murder to stand trial here in the U.S. Israel's President Rivlin held a reception marking Christmas and New Year's today in Jerusalem. The annual event for Christian spiritual and lay leaders was held online due to the coronavirus pandemic. It included Greek Orthodox Patriarch of Jerusalem Theophilus III, who thanked the Israeli president for his support for the religious character and significance of Jerusalem and Israel for Christians, Muslims, and Jews. Referring to a recent arson attempt at a church on Jerusalem's Mount of Olives, Theophilus said we cannot relax our vigilance against those who wish to subvert the integrity of our common life, in which the 3 Abrahamic traditions may be allowed to coexist and flourish. Rivlin vowed that that coexistence would continue.
Always remain committed to freedom of religion and will always be proud of the strong Christian communities in the Holy Land.
Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, December the 30th at 7 o'clock, a discussion of how young American Jews view Israel with Yair Rosenberg, Batya Unger Sargon, and Barry Weiss. At 8, Tal Keenan and Brett Stevens discuss the Jewish future. At 9, it's part 2 of JBS's Year in Review, with Mark Golub hosting Stephen Boehm, Eric Yaffe, Betty Ehrenberg, and Jonathan Tobin, who discuss Israeli politics, Israel pluralism, Peter Beinart, and the Jewish Person of the Year for 2020. At 10:30, Cantor Sol Zim in concert. And coming up next, it's Thinking Out Loud with Micah Halpern, who talks about Iranian praise of John Bolton, how the Abraham Accords are affecting the Iranian threat, and Israel's COVID-19 vaccination plans. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, December the 30th, 2020. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.